This week, Marty Supreme was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, an incredible feat that speaks to its excellence across the board. If you use that as a standard, though, you would imagine the Safdie project to fall to one battle after another, and the new record holder for nomination in a single Oscar, Sinners. So let's just caveat up front that this movie is excellent, and you should go see it if you haven't already. Any filmmaker walking this earth would be happy to put together something that turns out like this. And when you talk about something like Best Picture specifically, there can only be one winner, which leads to making decisions of what makes one film better than another. I'm no better, I do that here. But I think the thing we miss is that when each film is excellent, the complaints aren't about this ruined the movie, but rather, a break here and there and what kept it from being the best it could be. Also, I know I'm late to the party with this review. I fell down the stairs when I was home for Christmas, and I haven't been moving too well, but I am recovering and getting back on schedule, so I will have more timely reviews as well as Oscar nominees I missed. Regardless, thank you for watching. Timothee Chalamet took some shit last year when he was accepting an award, and he explained how he wanted to be one of the greats, to have a career that would be compared to other actors like we compare athletes with championships. And I love that. I don't think I ever agreed with anything more said on an award stage. I really think sports is a great way to think about it because, artistry aside, athletes make choices about how they train, how they practice, how they play a certain point, much like artists do. If you ask someone who their favorite actors of all time are, they will start talking about the great movies they were in. Almost like if you ask who the greatest basketball player is, you'll start listing years the team they were on won championships. Talent is one thing. You have it or you don't. But you cannot work somebody with talent that is lazy. Timothy started young. He's made incredible choices on what he wants to do. He's worked harder than his competition, especially when you combine the on-camera versus promotional duality of acting. This performance of Marty Supreme is an ascension from where he was when he gave that speech. He's getting better. And I think that this movie, as incredible as it is outside of Chalamet, would not work with someone else up top. A movie like this needs a superstar, and Timothy is certainly that. I think the thing I enjoy most about this character is that he's not just the star of a sport no one cares about, but deep down in his bones, he's a hustler. A lot of the same energy that was present in Uncut Gems is in this movie as well, without the squeeze. But it's a fun time watching Marty operate. I think my number one note was that we saw a lot of action that shows how committed he is to this, but we miss the moments between the lines where the sport is played, and we see the fire burning deep within. Because while I wasn't expecting a sports movie loaded with ping pong, I thought there would be something about the competition of it all. Marty Supreme is probably the least sports movie I can remember, which is fine, but there is a drama that only sports can provide, and it's just weird that you have him striving to be the best at something and only casually care about the competition. It means that when he wins, the effect is dulled emotionally, like watching highlights of the airport of a cricket team in India winning a championship. We get way more time watching him in a semifinal match and halftime at Globetrotters when he's just having a laugh. But when he is in battled his toughest foe, we take long shots of standard ping pong and move along the game all the way to the end. There is no heart of a champion, especially with the biggest moments teamed with Marty complaining about things he has no right complaining about. Just an all-time crybaby. I don't know. I think there was 5 minutes that can be taken from somewhere else and put into these pivotal moments where we see how good Marty really is at this sport. If you give me 5 minutes on the table as good as the rest of the movie, I think it would be something truly special. I'm only saying this because deep within me, there is a part of me that is hyper competitive. I keep it chained up in the back like a junkyard dog because if I let it take over my life, I may have more accomplishments, but I certainly wouldn't have a family or a relationship or friends that saw me and enjoyed the hang. But there are times when it's allowed to be out, and when it's appropriate, it unlocks a different state of being. Just 5 minutes of that for Marty Supreme. 5 minutes of Kobe Bryant meets Whiplash meets ping pong. Timothy was unlocked. He could do it. It was there for the taking, one way or another, one of the great performances. The acting riches continue with Odessa A'zion and Gwyneth Paltrow as the dual love interests for young Marty. I'm going to start with Odessa because I'm caught up on I Love LA. She is becoming a star fast. And I know there will be a contingent of Nepo baby people, which is totally fair, but she is really good. One of my favorite games is to look at someone's IMDb and find out how long it has been between becoming an overnight success and the first credit. Usually, every overnight success was easy 7 to 10 years, unless you were a child star, which was different. I think Jennifer Lawrence broke out, and it was like 5 years, which felt impossibly fast. And things have definitely sped up since then, but Odessa's first credit was in 2021, so 4 years is super quick. Needless to say, she is great in this and really shows a completely different side to the people who have only seen her from I Love LA. She is a bit of a hustler in her as well, so she pairs nicely with Timothee, as there is great chemistry between them, even though at times it's held at arm's length. I'm really curious what the next project would be. She could have been nominated for this, so there is a lot of pressure to find the right fit. Speaking of could have been nominated, I will read your snubs when it comes to Gwyneth Paltrow in this. I don't know if I would have nominated her myself, but the performance was really good. And something different from her filmography. What I really enjoyed was that she really fell into the character, and Safdie has talked about how he likes actors that remind you of the state of the character. It's one of the things to intertwine her career with the character she plays, but I feel like that in this space she found something brilliant. I think Josh Safdie is really good at getting the best out of the cast, both traditional actors and non-traditional actors. Also, 6 years between her first credit and 7. Going back through the previous films of a Safdie or any combination of them both, there is a love for casting non-traditional actors and even putting them in meaty roles. Not just did I do that and exit stage right. For as long as I can remember, this fell into either a place of cameos or stunt casting. Stan Lee in a Marvel movie is a cameo. Having Mr. Beast be the Riddler in the new Batman movie would be stunt casting. Also, please, no one tell Warner Brothers I made that joke. Or no one tell Netflix. Paramount? One way or another, Safdie means a cast chock full of people who you don't think of as actors, from former NBA players like George Gervin and Trace McGrady, much like they had KG in Uncut Gems. David Mamet is the director of Gwyneth's play. Penn Jillette is the guy who has the dog. It's a wild collection of names, and I'm sure the backstory on all of them and how they got here is hysterical. I would love a special feature on the Blu-ray that was like a pop-up video on VH1 where it pops up with the real people and why they were significant and like how they got here. I just think it would be a lot of fun. It's really a skill to get workable performances from people who are not used to it, so it should be applauded that it works so consistently. Having well-written material is key here, and that has been consistent throughout the filmography. The one that really had me confused was Kevin O'Leary, who is known for being on Shark Tank. I start by saying he did a great job. I had never watched Shark Tank, but he did a great job. I don't know if it would have hit different if I knew about him, but the second thing I flagged was the role of Milton Rockwell. Josh is so good with traditional actors. He has Timothy's best performance ever in this movie. Odessa is a breakout, and Gwyneth has been awoken. Why in the world can we not get a heavy that is a known actor with known talent? I'm not trying to say Kevin O'Leary is not good enough to be an actor in this movie. He's, frankly, one of the best non-traditional actors in the film. He just doesn't have the tricks or undeniable talent to break through like an actor would. In a sports metaphor, your basketball team has 5 starters, the best 5 guys, and then guys on the bench. The first guy off the bench is the 6th man. Not good enough to start, but the first guy called. This 6th man can score a lot of points quickly. They could be a valuable piece. They could be a promising youngster. What they won't be is a most valuable player or an all-star, because if they were talented enough to do that, they would be starting. I would have preferred a starter in this role of Milton Rockwell, not just Kevin O'Leary dropping 23 in Portland. I did this before talking about the Coen brothers, but it's always interesting to see what ideas you attribute to a specific brother once they start directing independently from one another. I saw The Smashing Machine, but was unable to turn it into a review. I thought it was a fine movie with a lot going on, but found a near shot-for-shot remake of a documentary less exciting than what I had seen in The Brotherhood. The pace and feel of Marty Supreme feels much more in line with what we had seen recently. Needless to say, I think that both are exceptional directors in their own right, and Benny has enjoyed success as an actor as well. I don't think just because Josh won round one and being nominated first that Benny is far behind. Back to Marty Supreme, I think it was a masterful job by Josh. Every nomination was well deserved. Writing, directing, editing, and picture. Have to give love to my crew people below the line. Jennifer Venditti in the inaugural casting award, Jack Fisk and Adam Willis in production design, Miyako Belize for costumes, and Darius Kanji for cinematography. They did a great job in getting the feel of 1952 New York, adding a combination of the period piece along with modern filmmaking, 1980s music and score, which leads me to my last two thoughts. First, I don't know if I need the opening title sequence. I think if it was cut, it would add to the drama, but I am not willing to fight over it. Next, I would like to state for the record that I love Tears for Fears. I appreciate them. They are in soundtracks. I enjoy them as needle drops. And I like when we get deeper cuts, like Who Killed Tangerine and Fever Pitch. I understand using them as bookends, too. It was a nice touch. Personally, though, I think, unless it's a music biopic or something that is about specific artists, music like Mamma Mia or Yesterday or Bohemian Rhapsody, I think you should only be able to use one track per artist per soundtrack. I am too aware when it happens. And I am carving out callbacks or reprises because that happens a lot too. This had nothing to do with the success of the movie. Frankly, it's irrelevant, but I don't know when I will be able to bring this up again. And I believe, like I believed in Timmy's SAG speech, one song per artist, please. Two great choices, though, especially Change, which doesn't get the love it deserves. No love where it's deserved? Sounds like you got a case of the leaderboard. I had a really good time with Marty Supreme. It's great when attention to detail is something you feel and don't notice. It's a great example of almost everything falling into place because, as I say, it's really hard to make a movie. And the number one reason a movie doesn't work isn't usually because of some personal failing, but rather it's really hard and things don't work out the way you planned. Like being the number one ranked American in ping pong and blowing it. If I had to give Marty Supreme a score, I would give it an 8.6. Good for 9th on the leaderboard, and it is the second film from 2025 in the top 10. I don't know how many awards this movie will get come Oscar time. It seems to be in the 3-4 spot ranking-wise for Best Picture. I think below the line, it could be up for a few. Best Casting is a real wild card to predict in his first year. In a normal year, I think Timothee Chalamet would be a shoo-in, but Leo had a really great performance, and I think it'll be a tight amongst all the nominees. Best Original Screenplay looks like the best shot, but we will have to tune in and find out. Thank you so much for watching. There will be lots coming over the next few weeks as I play catch up before Oscar night. With a lot of re-releases, I'll be able to catch them on the big screen as they should be. I hope to see you again here next time. Bye.